In the summer of 1888, in Kulm, West Prussia, to a middle-class family, a man was born. That man would be responsible for the creation of one of the most chaotic and revolutionizing warfare tactics in all of history. This man's name is Heinz Guderian, and his creation of the Blitzkrieg. Born to Frederick and Clara Guderian, with his brother Fritz Ludwig, Guderian's family was bred for war, as his family having a strong connection in the military. Starting at a young age, Guderian was a genius tactician, highly influenced by his father and his career in the army. Guderian's father would teach Heinz the values of discipline, courage, and duty. With this, Guderian would learn to be strict and mature, promising to his father that he would follow in his footsteps. Guderian will be given the nickname Quick Heinz. It would not be long until this nickname takes meaning. With his promises and interest in the military, Guderian decided to enroll into a military academy in Berlin at the age of 15 as a cadet. While at the academy, Guderian would learn lots of values and information on battle tactics. One of the most important values that Guderian's father would teach him at a young age was the value of discipline. This would be reflected by the German military in the academy, as they were very built upon it. Guderian would take notice on this while his time there, as he already learned the importance of discipline by his father. Although Guderian has had great understanding and noticed all the values of military strategies, he would still pass the academy with poor grades. After passing military school, Guderian went on to join the Prussian army in 1907. At the age of 19, Guderian was admitted in as officer cadet to the 10th Infantry Battalion under his father's command. By 1908, after working hard under his father, he was promoted to the second rank of lieutenant. In 1912, he transferred to the 3rd Telegraph Battalion to learn and specialize in the new military communications, and was sold on the belief that it would lead the military to victories in battle. Guderian's hard work and effort was not unnoticed by his superiors, and was offered to attend the War Academy in Berlin, where he studied advanced tactics and eventually earned his nickname Schnell Heinz. In the Great War, or World War I, Guderian was a communications officer and was a first lieutenant within the Imperial German Army. Guderian was a part of the German failure that was the Battle of Marne. Guderian would also participate in the bloodbath that was the Battle of Verdun in 1915. He had viewed the carnage that ensued in the battle, even being promoted to captain and earning himself an Iron Cross. In 1918, he was a part of an officer training program in which he stood out from the rest by solving tactical problems with unorthodox situations. He was then appointed to be a part of the general staff, but by that time, the First World War would have already come to an end. After World War I, Guderian was one of the lucky few to be in the Reichswehr and was a military instructor. Before the defeat of Imperial Germany during the Great War, Guderian was particularly fascinated with the use of communications, tanks, and planes during the war. This sparked interest in Guderian. With the tactics used by the German stormtroopers, they would use tactics such as targeting weak points in the enemy lines, surprise attacking those points. While these worked effectively, the only downside of it were the limitations of the human body. These were some of the most crucial points that led to the creation of the War of Movement, more commonly known as the Blitzkrieg. After the Treaty of Versailles, he would perfect his military theory and would study from the British general who invented tactics for the war tanks and got to learning more about them. With the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis in 1933, Guderian was now a colonel in the Reichswehr army. With the rise of the Nazis, Guderian would soon be able to test out his strategy, also thanks to the new Wehrmacht policy placed by Adolf Hitler. By 1934, Guderian was able to show Hitler the use of Blitzkrieg and the fundamentals of it. This showcase of his tactics impressed Hitler, and he would support Guderian in his strategies and tactics in warfare. Shortly after the Auschwitz of Austria, Guderian took place in the invasion of Poland in 1939. Within the invasion, Guderian was able to prove just how effective the use of tanks, communications, and planes were when combined with infantry. At the end of the battles, he was awarded with the Knight's Cross after the invasion and capture of Poland. This would be the start of the Second World War, as well as the use of the Blitzkrieg. After the early success within the invasion of Poland, Guderian was assigned to the Western Front and helped carry out Operation Circle Cut, which was the passing throughout the thick forests of the Ardennes and was very similar to the Skyphone plan, but was carried out very differently. With the operation being carried out successfully, the Wehrmacht was able to catch the Allies by surprise thanks to the fast-paced use of the Blitzkrieg. With the Allied armies in disarray as well as the suffering from mass casualties, they were pushed back at Dunkirk, in which 300,000 troops evacuated, showing the fear of the Blitzkrieg and what it ensued. By June 1940, the French had finally surrendered to the Third Reich. Guderian's use of the Blitzkrieg has proven itself to be one of the most effective warfare tactics at the time, and laid waste to the Allied armies, even with being at a disadvantage with less advanced technical tanks and equipment. Come June 1941, with the start of Operation Barbarossa, Guderian was sent out to the Eastern Front to lead the Wehrmacht victory against the communist threat. But unlike the successful campaign in France, the invasion of the Soviet Union was a nightmare for both sides, and both were now in hell on earth. Guderian's time in the Eastern Front had proven to him that the Reich was desperate, and with this, Hitler was getting into argument with most of his generals, Guderian included. Heinz was beginning to see the cracks in the faults in the whole operation, with his divisions constantly meeting stiff resistance from the Russians and changing climate. He had refused to take an order from the Führer to advance it to Moscow, instead deciding to retreat. Due to this, Hitler ended up putting Guderian on leave. And by 1934, the Germans were now the ones defending from the Soviet onslaught, and Hitler called back Guderian to assist with the Eastern Front. Guderian recommended to delay Soviet advance, but Hitler was not for the plan and ended up arguing with him. In the following years leading to 1945, Guderian knew that the Third Reich would crumble under the Allies and was already put on leave for 6 weeks by the Führer. By now, Schnell Heinz was stopped dead in his tracks. After the end of World War II in 1945, Guderian was taken to the Nuremberg trials and was held in an interment camp and was eventually tried for war crimes. But with Guderian keeping to himself and staying calm, they weren't able to convict any war crimes upon him. By 1948, he was released and served a little bit in the West German Armed Forces, where he wrote his autobiography titled The Panzer Leader in 1952. Soon after, Guderian's health would decline, where he would eventually meet his peaceful end in Schwangau, Germany of 1954. Although the Blitzkrieg was primarily used during the time of World War II, it has greatly affected the way that we fight wars in today's world. An example of how the Blitzkrieg changed warfare forever was the use of it during the Gulf War, as well as modern-day wars such as Ukraine and Russia. Another way on how it changed warfare was the defensive standings that countries have while being attacked by the Blitzkrieg, by setting lots of forts and defenses on the front lines, hoping to stop this quick, powerful force, rarely being successful. The man that would be responsible for this whole change in warfare would be Heinz Guderian, as without him, we would not fight the way that we do today, and Nazi Germany would have likely never seen the success that it had seen before it was taken down, revolutionizing warfare forever and creating a turning point within history.